Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Around the Ropes podcast episode right here on the Around the Ropes YouTube channel. See how easy I make it for you guys? Guys, we have a loaded fucking show for you guys tonight. I am so eager. Hold on. Just give me a second here. I am so eager for this show. I'm eager for the show for the fact of who we have coming up at 8:30 tonight. Guys, we've had Timothy Embler on here before. Obviously, you guys know we are the official podcast of Battleground Championship Wrestling, as I just poked myself in the eye. Ow, that hurt. But guys, the bigger guess is the fact that we have the one, the only ECW legend himself, the icon, Joel Gertner. Yes, guys, the quintessential Sun Muffin will be joining at 8:30. Because, guys, I don't know if you're up to date on it, but there's kind of this big rivalry going on right now in Battleground Championship Wrestling between Joel Gertner and Timothy Embler. And basically what this all stems to is that July 6th, live from the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Shit, my fucking eye is killing me. We have a match that basically, the way it's set up is if Joel Gertner's team wins, he gets ownership of the company for one whole year. If Timothy Embler and his team, which is being run by also another ECW legend, Bill Alfonso, then Joel Gertner will have to fire somebody on the spot and ban them as well. Just give me 2 seconds here because I am sharing the show out with the hopes we get people to watch tonight. Because, guys, like I said, we got a lot coming up for you guys. We also have some independent wrestling talk to get to as well, as the Dynasty just presented Sounds Gay I'm In this past Saturday, live from Schenectady Pride. So we'll definitely touch on that in a couple minutes here. But I'm just trying to share the show so we can get more people to watch and get more of an interaction going here tonight. So again, guys, just bear with me 2 seconds. I'm just finishing this up. But guys, again, you can follow us. We're on all social media sites. Just search Around the Ropes Podcast. If you watch us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. It costs you nothing. It does wonders for us. We're up to 35 subscribers right now. My next goal is to try to get to 50 by the end of the summer. And like, I know we just started the summer. I'm aware of that. But guys, I want to try to get to 50 because ultimately 100 is the big one. Because if we get to 100, it means that I can create a custom URL to make it a lot easier for finding the show. So again, guys, just bear with me 2 seconds here. I'm just trying to finish up sharing the show. Just again, bear with me 2 seconds here, guys. Hopefully everybody is staying warm. I know it's kind of been a hot weekend, to say the least. And I say that, jokingly, but, it actually has been kind of warm. And just bear with me 2 seconds here. I'll just take it to 2 more groups. And then, guys, we're going to get going right now, actually, because, guys, I want to dive into what happened this past Saturday at the Dynasty as they presented Sounds Gay I'm In at Schenectady Pride. And first of all, the crowd was intense, to say the least. It was insane. It was absolutely insane. Actually, just bear with me one more second because I do want to share it out to 2 more things here. So just bear with me 30 seconds. And the Dynasty presented Sounds Gay I'm In this past Saturday, and it was a fun show. It was definitely a fun show. I had the honor of helping film a lot of it. Actually, what am I kidding? A lot of it. I was basically the filmer. Because you have, in indie wrestling, you have your hard cam, and you have most shows usually have 1 to 2 to sometimes 3 guys with handheld cameras. And I was lucky enough to be the one to do the filming of it. So it was definitely interesting, to say the least. It was a fun show. The show opened up with Fox Vineyard taking on Ashton. Ashton ended up winning. Then we saw I'm not going to go through, it's not going to be verbatim match by match because I don't remember it verbatim like that. Then we had the Fatal 4-Way, which was Sergeant Fury, Black Rose, whatchamacallit, Jeff Nova, and Blackwell. I'm forgetting his actual name. I apologize about that. And they had a Fatal 4-Way. That one, I will say, was probably one of my favorite matches. And it was also one of the toughest ones because I've noticed in past experience with filming a match, you tend to have two guys by ringside. So in most circumstances, you would have one guy with looking at two of the guys, and then the other guy getting so you get all the action. I kept flipping back and forth because I was like, okay, I want to try to get all the action, and it was a good match. I'll definitely say this much. I think I could definitely see a scenario playing out down the road where we get Black Rose and Sergeant Fury again in a one-on-one action. I can definitely see that. I can definitely see Black Rose and Nova happening. Hell, I can see Nova and Fury happening. I don't know Blackwell because I don't know if he's a part of Dynasty, fully, or if that was just a one-off type thing. I have no idea. Then we also had Cora Valentine, and obviously, guys, you saw my interview I did with her last week. Which, by the way, guys, I am absolutely honored that that the two videos of people who, of the two people who've gotten the most views so far, as far as the recorded interviews, are Cora Valentine and Vicious Ricky. So it is incredible. And guys, you can definitely go check out that, and you should go check out all the interviews I have, because guys, I've said this before. I said this hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of times. June is going to be an insane month for this show, because obviously we have the Dynasty opening the month and closing the month, but also we got Blitzkrieg Pro coming up on the end of the month. We have Free Combination coming up this Sunday. We also have Pro Wrestling Magic. We also have UWE their next set of tapings. We also have obviously we have the aforementioned Battleground happening July 6th. We have freaking Immortal happening July 14th at Utica as they present Immortal Things 5. So guys, we have a lot going on, and you will get all of your coverage right here on the Around the Road. You see why I put it right there? So you guys can just search for it. But guys, definitely search for it, because guys, like I said, we got and I also have some videos that I have to upload as well, including Nahir Robles. I also have a special that I did. It was supposed to be done prior to Double or Nothing, but no, Mark, I did not forget about Ace. I was about to mention it. I know Ace has a show coming up on July 6th, so definitely go check out Ace. Unfortunately, I will not be able to be at that next show because obviously I will be at Battleground that day. So again, definitely go check out any of the shows coming up, because guys, like I said, you'll have your wall-to-wall coverage of all of these shows coming up in the next couple of weeks. So just be prepared, because you're going to be seeing a lot of me. But I want to get back to the show from Saturday, because the biggest thing I picked up was Cora Valentine. Originally, she was supposed to take on Tiffany Avatar. And Tiffany obviously no showed the event. And my assumption is I don't know the exact reason behind it. And John, I'll get to your question in a second. I'm not sure the reasoning behind it, but we ended up not getting her. Obviously, one of the possible reasons is Titan Championship Wrestling was doing a show down at Seaside Heights, where Tiffany Avatar is your goddess champion. She was taking on Amity Levy, I think her name is. And so that I don't know the reason behind it, but so we ended up getting Cora Valentine taking on Paulo. If you've seen her, you know exactly who I'm talking about. It was a good match, and I will say this much, Cora, and I hope Cora's watching this right now, because I said, Cora, I did say to you, I give you my honest opinion. Cora, you are a white meat babyface. I don't care what anybody says. the second you came out, the kids were hugging you. Right there and then is a white meat baby face to me. So guys, definitely go check it out. I think with that match, like I said, that one was a good one. Yes, Mark, Tiffany did lose the belt. So again, I don't know verbatim, what ended up happening, but hopefully Tiffany will be at a future Dynasty show. Who knows? But then we also had Layla James taking on Taylor One Shot for the intergender title, and Taylor ended up winning. And there's a photo going around Facebook, and I thought this moment was really, for an old school wrestling fan like myself, I thought it was a very touching moment when her girlfriend, Taylor's girlfriend, came into the ring and they did their version of the Macho Man Miss Elizabeth pose. And I thought that was a nice moment, kind of a nice bow, a nice bow tie to close out the whole thing. I thought it was very, very good. But I want to get some of these comments coming in here because my one issue I've noticed is I tend to not read comments here. So Mark chimes in and goes, Tiffany lost the belt from what I've seen. Yes, Mark, she did. Mark also said, I'm sure both will be there, I guess answering John's question. And Mark goes, what's up, buddy? Yeah, Mark, I definitely will be getting a haircut probably sooner rather than later. John, interesting question you bring up here. He goes, hot topic, John. Why do I see people trashing promotions? As fans, we don't know why, but I feel it hurts. John, that's actually a very interesting question. And to me, I personally think it's baby. Because to me, and I'll look at the independent companies that the show works with. We're not WWE. We're not AEW. Okay, it's not like, oh, we got to beat them in the ratings. To me, and I've said this on this show hundreds upon hundreds of times, you should be a fan of independent wrestling. The fact that we still get to see some of these guys and girls who are on the indie scenes, that we still get to see them, is incredible. I mean, I've said this before. The fact that we get to still see Darius, we still get to see Vicious Vicky, we still get to see Gangone, we still get to see Recon. Guys and girls who should be in WWE and AEW at this point. Especially Darius Carter. I'm going to say that till the cows come home. But to answer your question, John, I think the fans who do that are the small percentage of a small percentage of the indie wrestling fans who want to just trash on other promotions because they feel like it's the right thing to do. And realistically, here's the way I look at it. And it's not just fans who are doing this. It's promotions are doing this also. And it pisses me off to no end because what are you actually solving here? I would love somebody to come on here, either in the comments or message me that they want to hop on the show and explain to me what trashing other companies does. Because all it does, it makes you look like a baby, first of all. And second off, I personally feel that it doesn't hurt the talent. My feeling is it drives away fans. Because if I'm a fan of Company A, okay, and I see Company A is trashing Company B for whatever reason, I see the fans are trashing it. Why would I then want to support Company A when I see all they're doing is being a bunch of babies? So I don't understand why it happens. Like I said, I personally think it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Because to me, we should be a fan of indie wrestling. Because guys, I hate to say it, we were at a moment not that many years ago where we almost didn't have independent wrestling with the pandemic. You guys remember? I know it seems like an eternity ago, but it was only a couple of years. It was actually, if you want to pull back the curtain here for a second, it was literally when this show started. We almost didn't have independent wrestling because of COVID. So the fact that we got past COVID and we have independent wrestling and we have the opportunity to go to these shows and go to these companies, it is Thank you, Merc. That's what I've been trying to say. Merc said, when I see, hold on, I'm going to pull up his comment here. He goes, when I see, can't even fucking read tonight. He goes, when I see it happens, it stops me from, yeah, thank you, Merc. That's what I'm trying to say here. I think the biggest thing I'm trying to push here, and again, I don't ever push an agenda on here. You guys should know that very well from seeing the show for the last 3 years. I do not push an agenda. But why can we just stop this bullshit already of, oh, I don't like this company, but who gives a rat's ass? I'm sorry, who gives a rat's ass? Because most of the time, here's the shocker to you, most of the time the issues are behind the scenes. And us as fans, that shit shouldn't bother us. But I want to pull up John's comment here. And he goes, Titan is always getting bashed, and I dig one of their big names. Not fair to talent, working hard. Take that hate. Yeah, thank you. That's what I'm trying to say here. Because to me, it does nothing. I don't care what the promotion is. But to me, all you're doing is just furthering this whole thing when it comes to wrestling. And this is why when you tell people, oh, I'm a fan of wrestling, they look at you cross-eyed half the time. Yes, I know I'm a fan of this crazy sport. And I know most people who watch the show or listen to the show are a fan of this crazy sport. But when you get people who are literally bashing these other companies, Titan is a great example. And I mean, people know it already, but Titan and SWF is a prime example right there. It's like they're acting like children, and they're acting like children in the sense that it's almost like mommy took away their toy, and they can't have their toy back. That's the best way I can put it. And I think it is sad. Yeah, no, Mark, you're 100% right. Mark turns around and goes, and the thing about it is, hating on them, I'm just going to be honest, it's getting them more fans. It's stupid. Yeah, Mark, that's my whole argument here, is all you're doing is company, like I said before, I'm going to go back to my company A, company B here thing for a second. Company A is, the one that, company B is company A is trash on company B. All company A is doing is bringing company B more fans, and more fans mean more money. That's all that's happening. So I want, and this is the message, and Merc or John or whoever's watching us, you can put it out there. I'm pushing to stop the bullshit already when it comes to independent wrestling. WWE and AEW, that's one thing. Okay, that's impossible to fix. And that also comes from the top. But when it comes to independent wrestling, I don't care if it's a company in Jersey, a company in upstate New York, in Massachusetts, it doesn't matter where. Support local independent wrestling. Because you could, and I said this, and people like Merck, people like John, who have been fans of the show, know my stance when it comes to independent wrestling. Go support independent wrestling, because you could be seeing the next, a future champion in 10 years or so in the WWE or AEW or TNA or Ring of Honor. Who the hell knows? And the fact that when you go to these independent shows and you get a chance to see them in action, you get a chance to actually meet them. And not this bullshit of, you get to see them for 30 seconds and pay whoever hundreds upon hundreds of dollars. Usually to meet some of these guys and gals, it's usually 20, maybe $30 at tops. Thank you, Mark. Mark turned around and said here, it's like so fucking stupid. Oh, I'm taking this guy to court, bro. Who exactly? I think the issue is, while social media is good in some perspective, because it's helped push the show, is it almost hurt because some people, I'm not going to say names here. If you know, you know, some wrestling companies should not have social media. Point blank simple. Because then it gives them an avenue to air their dirty laundry, air their grievances, and who gives a shit? Seriously, who gives a flying fuck if, you know, you have an issue with company B? I'm a fan. Who cares? Why? You're doing this because you don't want me to go to that company? Give me a break already. Give me a fucking break at this point. And John comments on here and goes, another thing I see is I wish more collaboration, at least with these booking shows. There are 5 shows in 3 days in North Jersey. I can't go to all. Wish they could coordinate who's running when better. And you know what's funny, John? You bring up that interesting point because I'm going to go to the 2 companies that I work with in upstate New York, Dynasty and Immortal. And the one thing when it comes to them, as much as they have their issues with each other, and it's been well documented already, the issues between the Dynasty and Immortal, you'll never see the Dynasty run A, in the same town, or B, the same day as Immortal. And look at, okay, I'll give you another example. Look at upstate New York. Not upstate New York. Look at Massachusetts with companies like Blitzkrieg, companies like Limitless. You don't see them running every day. And you don't see 25 promotions running within a 10-minute time span. We got a comment coming in here actually from Ryan. Holy cannoli, it's a long comment. So I'm going to try to read this right now. He goes, agree, an up-and-coming podcaster who are trying and working their butts off to be the first them. I was going to say Van Vliet or even Michael Cole, but Metal Geek and people like yourself definitely need to be recognized. Trust me, Paul Heyman is my former customer when I whirled in Scarsdale at the Fresh Market and love his story. So someone soon will be the next big thing, commentary or journalism. Wow, Ryan, I appreciate that. And thank you for tuning in. I really do appreciate that. But guys, like I said, when it comes to independent wrestling, we should be supporting it. There's no reason to have this issues. You know, if promoters have issues with, and I also just want to stress this part out here. If promoters have issues with each other, and okay, fine, promoters are going to have issues with each other, what do you fucking do? But what I don't understand and what pisses me off is when the owners then will turn around and start publicizing it on social media. And I think it's ridiculous at this point. We got some more comments coming in here. And guys, Timothy Embler and Joel Gertner will be joining me in about 10 minutes or so. Hold on. I want to... Hold on. I just want to go to some of the comments here. Merck says, I'm going to be honest. Perfect example is Ace. You know how many companies try to run the same day as them, and it's stupid. Yes, thank you, Merck. I totally get that. Seth, my former boss. Yes, thank you, Seth. I appreciate that. And Joey Wood goes, as someone who has started covering wrestling this year, I'm excited to participate in the press conference hosted by you for Battleground. Joe, I can't wait to meet you at the show. Definitely come by, say hi. And Joe, if you want to plug your show in below so people can find it, I'll definitely, put you guys out there. And Joe, like I said, if you want to message me, I can definitely help you guys try to, further everything. But like I said, as far as independent wrestling goes, that's where it should end, right there. A good friend of the show, David, chimes in here. And mind you, with David, folks, you have to realize something. David's coming from the UK here, so it's a little bit different. And David goes, although we do have indie promotions in the UK, they are not as plentiful as in the States. and villages like mine get a real buzz when the rarity. Yeah, thank you, David. I totally get where you're coming from on it. And Joey will, yeah, absolutely, Joe. It was, it's my pleasure because what I try to do is when it comes to any of the up and coming shows, and as somebody like myself who has been there for, I mean, like I said, I've said the story hundreds of times. I've done this for 13 years. So I kind of know what it takes. Because like I said, I've been doing this shit for a long time. And it's tough. In the beginning, it's tough. And I wish when I was first doing this stuff 13 years ago, I wish I had a podcast to kind of lead me in the direction. I'll be honest, I've learned 99% of what I know just by trial and error. I think that's the best thing I can say. So, to a lot of the new podcasts that are first coming out there now, definitely, if you're friends with me on Facebook, definitely hit me up. If any way I can help. And the one thing I will always tell people this, I will never do the podcast for you. Absolutely not. However, I will show you the way to get your podcast seen by more people. Because the funny thing is, I think the best way I can put it, it's not like when we're reinventing the wheel here. Actually, Pete, I'm glad you brought that up because quick programming note with that. I know we were supposed to have Sean Donovan on here for a ATR exclusive this week. However, because of an issue with dates, he'll actually be live next Tuesday. Time to be determined, but he'll actually be live on show next Tuesday. So you're not going to want to miss that. So, Pete, actually, I know you didn't mean to bring up Sean because I know of him and what Alex are going through right now. But thank you for bringing up his name because it just dawned on me about that part. But, guys, like I said, as far as the independent wrestling stuff goes, I'm gonna beat a dead horse here at this point. That's basically what, and I'll throw it to you guys. Throw it to the fan, throw it to the ATR Nation here. What do you guys think about the bashing that goes on with independent wrestling? Do you think it's fair? Do you think it should stop? All that stuff. Yeah, John, that's kind of the reason why Sean isn't coming on was because he is working the Shotgun show on Thursday. And guys, definitely, if you're in the Jersey, John, where is the Shotgun show, by the way, so I can promote it? I won't be able to be there live, but I just want to, put it out there just for people to go see. Mark, thank you. That's my whole point, and that's kind of my whole thing at this point. But guys, I also want to make another announcement here. Okay, guys, if you're in Union, New Jersey, definitely go check it out. WrestlePro puts on some really big stuff, to say the least. Yep, first Thursday of every month. And it just so happens we're at the first Thursday. So there you go. But guys, I want to shift gears here for a second because, like I said, we got Timothy Embler and Joel Gertner joining us in about 5 minutes or so for probably one of the biggest interviews and sit-downs I have ever done in the 3 years that this podcast has been around for. But guys, in case you did not see it last night, there was an announcement made because this coming Sunday, Bree Combination Wrestling presents their 7th anniversary show. And lo and behold, they're going to have a kickoff show. And you may be asking yourself, who's doing that kickoff show? Dun, 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 yep, there we go. Start at 3 p.m. Eastern this coming Sunday. I will be live from Ridgefield Park, New Jersey at the Mecca, getting you guys ready for this show that is going to be an incredible show. And it will be insane coming up this coming Sunday. Obviously, this coming Saturday, I will be at VPW. Yes, Mark, your ears did not deceive you. Joel Gertner will be on this show in about 5 minutes. And yeah, David, perfect. That's probably the perfect way to put it right there. He goes, without indie shows, there would be nowhere for the big promotions to scout for future talent. Yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing also is, we maybe go, we go to these indie shows for fun, but in actuality, a lot of times it's them trying to impress. I mean, like I look at it this way. Look at me with this show. I bust my ass with the show every week with the hopes of somebody to notice. And, thank God a lot of people have noticed, to say the least. But that's like the same thing when it comes to independent wrestling. Is when you see these independent wrestlers, like, and I'll go back again through the list, like your Darius Carters, your Garrett Holidays in upstate New York, your CPAs, TJ Crawfords. A lot of them, it's to get noticed by a bigger company. Because you very rarely see independent wrestlers who will sit there and say, oh, I want to be on the indie scene and that's it. I mean, granted, yes, there are some wrestlers right now who are on the indie scene who don't need the big times, and I'll say his name again, Darius Carter. As much as we want to sit here and say that he would be perfect in WWE, and he would be, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. If all of a sudden, in like a year or two from now, we see Darius Carter on Monday Night Raw, he'll definitely deserve it. But personally, do I think he should? No. Because I think realistically, the problem is somebody like Darius right now is kind of building his legacy on the independents right now, to say the least. And it is, it's definitely, hold on, I just want to see something. Hold on, I just want to go back to, yep, there we go. All right, but like I said, though, exactly, John, you said it perfectly. He goes, Cardona don't need big promotions. Yeah, you end up making more money in the indie scene because A, you kind of make your own schedule, and B, it's not like you're signed to a contract where it's like, oh, okay, I'm making X amount of money. And that's kind of my whole thing with it. That's kind of my whole mentality with it. And guys, also, if you're watching the show tonight, definitely share the show. Definitely show your friends, your family, what you see here every Tuesday night. Because I'm trying to get the show to be one of the most viewed shows if we can. So definitely share the video. Even if you watch us on YouTube, all you just got to do is hit the share button. That's all. And like I said, just hit the share button. Show your friends, your family, and all that. What you see here every Tuesday night for the last 3 years. Guys, I want to keep things moving here because, like I said, we got a lot to get to tonight. And mind you, guys, we will get into some WWE and AEW talk as we have coming off of a very interesting Dynamite this past Wednesday, where we now know the main event for Forbidden Door happening right here on Long Island on June 30th, and that's Will Osprey taking on Swerve Strickland for the AEW World Heavyweight title. We also have WWE news to get to as we have AJ Styles pulled the Mark Henry, but obviously, did anybody expect something else was going to happen? And we got so much more to come for you guys tonight because, guys, like I said, we are here until, I would say, till at least 10 or so. And guys, like I said, definitely hit the share button. It costs you nothing. It does wonders for us. If you have any questions about anything regarding tonight's show, definitely leave them in the comment section below. We'll definitely pull them up. And like I said, guys, I seriously, because like I said, Tim should be joining us momentarily here, as well as Joel Gertner. Now, guys, here's the thing also. I just want you to realize one other thing, why this is so significant. These guys have been going at it now for the better part of probably the last year or so, to say the least. And they have not had much of an interaction at shows. And a lot of that is due to the fact that they don't like each other because for whatever reason it is. So the fact that they both agreed to come on the show tonight, and they should be here hopefully within a matter of moments. And guys, like I said, You're not going to want to miss this showdown because, guys, this is going to be an incredible showdown. I'll be honest, I don't know what to expect with this. This is going to be, I can tell you this much right now. Sparks are going to fly. That's all I'm going to say. Sparks are going to fly. I will say this much, though. I will try my best. Can't guarantee anything. I will try my best to have some decorum on here because of the fact that these guys are going to go at it. Trust me. Like I said, the sparks will be flying here. So I'm just waiting for them to come into the room, and then we will get, then they will be brought on screen. Obviously, that's how it works. That's, how I've been doing it for the last 3 freaking years. But let's dive into AEW now as we wait for our 2 guests to join. And AEW had a very interesting Dynamite this past week. And it looks like, Mr. Gertner is here. So let me wait till his camera is working. And, all right, guys, the moment has come. First, let me introduce to you the owner, promoter, operator of Battleground Championship Wrestling. Returning to the show again, the one, the only, Timothy Embler. Tim, how you doing?
I'm okay. Mr. John Blaine. How are you?
I'm doing great. I can't wait for this. Are you ready for me to bring in?
That makes one of us. That makes one of us.
And guys, joining the show as well. You guys think it's just going to be Tim? No. We're going a little extreme right now. The quintessential stud muffin and the man who has been a thorn in the side of Timothy Embler, Mr. Joel Gertner. Joel, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. More on work for Battleground. I'm doing great. Camera not working. I'm doing wonderful.
What a top of the line phone.
What?
I don't think they have cameras on flip phones.
That's funny. Telling me I have a flip phone. That's funny. What are you going to do next? I'm going to say PLE and you're going to say it's a pay-per-view. What are you going to do? Correct me? Because I appreciate What are you going to do?
Look, all right. Maybe I jumped the gun. Maybe I should calm down. I promised everybody coming on here I was going to go into this as a gentleman, and that's what I'm going to do.
Sandwich? Give somebody a ham sandwich.
I mean, it's very odd that your camera's not working. Of course, I'm sure there's something behind that, but nonetheless, we're here. We're here.
Listen, man. Full disclosure, I'm not wearing the neck brace anyway. So if the camera was working, you're not going to see me in my $1 million gear. You're not going to see me, no neck brace, no bow tie, because it's not a cause for celebration, and it's not a cause for being fancy, and it's not a cause for getting all dressed up, and it's not a case for being myself. I don't want to be here, and I don't want to be on with you, and I don't want to be doing this on my Tuesday night when I should be spending time with myself and the other 1%ers, and instead I'm on with you, a bottom-fishing, bottom-feeding carny. So no, I don't want to be on, and I don't care if my camera's working.
All right, hold on. Let's go back to the beginning. You and I are not lifelong friends. You and I just started working together.
You'd have to be human first.
Okay, look. Everybody in the ECW locker room gave me a pat on the back, except you. I've gotten along with everybody. Every old timer ECW guy has given me the seal of approval, including Todd Gordon himself.
I'll give you a kick
except you.
12 inches away. Is that okay by you?
Excuse me?
You want a pat on the back? I'll give you my version. I'll give you a kick in your ass. It's 12 inches away.
Now, I'm not looking for a pat on the back. What I'm saying is, if I'm only having problems with one person and that person's you, maybe I'm not the problem. Maybe you're the problem.
Maybe I'm too. No, you're absolutely right. Maybe I am 1%. Maybe I am the best. Maybe there aren't very many like me. Maybe because of that, you should treat me better. Maybe like Satnam Singh, maybe when it comes to genius, maybe when it comes to intellect, maybe I'm 1 in a billion. And maybe you should know what you've got. You like to emulate, you like to be like, carry the baton, carry water for, imitate, whatever it is you like to do with ECW. Maybe you should do as Paul Heyman did and treat me with the respect of being his protege and his future. Maybe that's what you should do
All
instead of
right.
coming.
So then, okay, fair enough. So let's talk about really quick your entry into the Battleground. You came in as a liaison for the Philadelphia Playboy, correct? That was your first
Is that what
appearance.
I that day? Because if that's what I wanted to be, then you're absolutely right. That's what I was. Is that
Exactly. And it would go on from there. But when we came in, everything was civil between you and I. We talked. We pulled back the curtain a little bit. We had no issues. And then what
Tim,
happened?
how long?
Then what
Business?
happened with the segment was you came out, you went into business for yourself, you cut about a 30-minute promo, you made the pay-per-view go long, and you went on and on and on about how you're disrespected. You were looking for a job from AEW. Nobody will hire you. You went out there and you took over, you hijacked the show for a half an hour. Is that fair?
So says you. Well, what are we going to do? We're going to argue about it. I'm going to try to convince you that you're wrong to a hammer everything with a nail. You seem pretty convinced. What am I going to do? Talk you out of it?
There's no reason to argument. Everybody knows what happened. Anybody can go back and watch the pay-per-views. Everybody knows what happened. So you go into business for yourself. You go out there, you cut a promo that probably is still echoing in the 2300 arena right now. And then I come back to talk to you about it. I wasn't mad. I wasn't. And you snub me, walk away, and basically you've been a thorn in my side ever since, and we haven't spoken since. And I signed you for multiple shows, and I wasn't going to go back on that. So, and we've never seen eye to eye. Then you bring in Christian Ross. Oh, by the way, a guy who jumped the guardrail and attacked a wrestler and wasn't even a part of the roster. You sign him. So, and these are things. And I'm the carny. I'm the bad guy. I'm not the bad guy. I tried to work with you from the very beginning, and you turned your back on me, and you want to do your own thing, and that's what leads us to this match now. The match now where you threw down the gauntlet, where if your team wins, you want to own Battleground Championship Wrestling.
I thought you told me we were going to be on with Blonde Jane.
I don't know.
This isn't that guy, Blonde Jane. That's not who this is. This is some other dude wearing spectacles. He's listening to you with his hand on his head, trying to stave off a headache that 2 ibuprofen won't fix. You can't see it because he's got his spectacles on. He's crying. He's bored to tears from your diatribe. Blonde Jane over here, David Blaine, the magician of YouTube, making people who come to his page, turning them from viewers into non-viewers within 60 seconds. What else you got?
Look, that John Blaine. I'd like to personally apologize on behalf of Joel Gertner. You do not deserve any sort of attack. This is not any fault of your own. You're a middleman here. You have no idea what I've been dealing with for a year plus. So attacking John Blaine, is that really the way to go? Attacking our host here, our gracious host?
You know what? Don't do anything on my behalf, because if you were going to start doing things on my behalf, you would have in your lifetime had dozens and dozens of episodes of sexual intercourse, which you obviously haven't had, that you're on here on Tuesday night of all times.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's right. The guy, you know what it is, Joel? The guy who talks about sex the most is usually the virgin. So maybe you're maybe you're the virgin.
You're telling me I'm still a virgin. You know what? For argument's sake, Tim Embler, let me tell you something. For argument's sake, yeah, I was still a virgin until last night. But on my first punt, I had a hell of a go. And if you don't believe me, ask your sister.
I don't have a sister, Joel Gertner.
Well, guess what? You will in 9 months.
Here we go. Was that in one of your soliloquies from 1997? I mean, come on. Look.
You know who else had soliloquies? William fucking Shakespeare. You know why? Because he was almost as great as I am. You know why? Because you're on here on a Tuesday night at 20 minutes of 9, proving that jealousy is the gift that mediocrity bestows upon greatness.
Well, you keep going on about I'm on here on a Tuesday night. I mean, it's a Tuesday night. I mean, what should I be doing?
Unpaid. What should I be doing else with my unpaid self than not be on this show with you? Does that make sense? Is that getting through to you that my time is precious?
Yeah, your time is so precious that you couldn't even turn your camera phone on.
You know what? And I'm still not convinced that you don't have something to do with that, because I allowed access to my camera just as I did my microphone, and it's
Oh,
not.
there we go. There we go. Just like that. Now we're
I
going
don't
to
know.
go back to all the
Bro,
stuff
you're
from,
always
from,
coming
from your
out
whole
with me
team.
at my shows. You're grabbing the mic. You're putting yourself over. How great you are. You're trying to take control at these events that would not be happening if it wasn't for me.
That's not the case at all. I do not try to put myself over whatsoever. I come out, I do announcements. Yes, I have a little mic time. I mean, I'm the owner of the company. I'm not allowed a little mic time. I mean, who doesn't put what owner of the company doesn't give themselves a little mic time? Come on.
And it's your strawberry festival, pal. Whatever you want.
Ugh, please. John. Hey, how are you? You got anything to say, John? The host here. You have any questions?
I'm letting you guys go at it because it seems like you guys have a lot of stuff to get off you guys' chest, and I figure do it on here, then wait till it gets into the ring where, especially in that building where violence is pretty much in the gravestones of that building.
All right, hold on a second, John Blaine. I'll handle this one. So here it goes. July 6th, this is what's going down, in case anybody doesn't know. His team versus Bill Alfonso's team, Team Extreme. Sex with Your Next Ex Express. They're going the teams are taking on one another. If his team wins for 1 year, he will run the Battleground. He will own Battleground Championship Wrestling for 1 year. Now, you think that's a pretty big thing to offer there. What am I getting in exchange? If my team wins, if Bill Alfonso's team wins, if Team Extreme wins, well, then Joel Gertner in the ring in front of God and everybody has to pick one of his members, not all three, because that's in the contract, but he has to pick one of his team and fire him publicly in front of the world. And that will be the most sweetest victory of all, because I don't care which one of them you fire. I never have to see them again.
In your mind.
I have to still deal with Joel and the rest of the team for a
the
year.
1/3 of the day while you're asleep, it's going to be something great, because otherwise during the 16 hours while you're awake, it's not happening. It's not a reality. It's not a probability. It's not a possibility. It's not real. And that's why I agreed to it. And you know what? Out of the kindness of my heart, because I own Battleground to begin with. What do I get out of it? I don't get a prize if I win, because I already own Battleground. There is no Battleground without me.
You own nothing. You just because you paid off a referee who's down on his luck and didn't have a dime, didn't have two nickels to rub together, and you took advantage of him. That poor ref Rankin.
Long enough, and it'll happen to you too.
There's not a chance. I would never be in that position. And poor John Rankin, the guy who's calling me, who called me nonstop, apologizing.
You're saying he's
apologizing.
You're questioning his home economics. You're saying he doesn't know how to have responsibilities to his family. You're saying his wife and kids are suffering because they're mixed in with him. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is he's going through a divorce. See, you don't even know. All you care about is the bottom.
I don't care
what you want out of him.
Saturday evening, and I don't care on Saturday night, and I don't care on Friday morning, and I don't care when I'm asleep, and I don't care when I'm on vacation, and I don't care when I'm in your beautiful, precious Battleground plaything, and I don't care when I'm at home, and I don't care wherever I am, because I am who I am, and I am what I am, and I don't care. You know what I care about? I care to know, Tim, how you are at trivia. You fancy yourself any good at trivia? Let's see how intelligent.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, all right.
Sure, go ahead.
You'll never answer this. You ready? What's black, has a small penis, and hangs down?
Come on. I have no clue.
A bat.
No clue.
A bat. Now let me ask you another one. What's white, has a big penis, and hangs up?
Oh, yeah. You, right now. And there we go.
Wow.
And there we go. John, look, I expected nothing less. I came on here, I put my sunglasses on because I thought he was going to come out here with his neck brace and be all in gimmick. And so I wanted to come out with a gimmick too. I just want to let everybody know, like, you make your own judgments. Joel Gertner is who he is. You go back and he proved himself. He's amazing on the mic. He for the 90s and for ECW, obviously, in his genre was the best at what he did. Unfortunately, what happened with Joel Gertner, and you make your own mind up as time went on, I think the business passed him by. I think he thought he should have extended higher than he did. I think he thinks he should be in AEW right now. Maybe he should. Maybe he should. But obviously, there's something going on where people won't hire him. And I did, and now I have to take the penance for hiring this man, because now I can't get rid of him for a year. So this right here, what God and everybody saw, that's what I deal with every single Battleground show. And you pull back the curtain, it's a show, right? But this is shoot. So when you're trying to get a guy to do stuff and you're trying to run a show and he won't, and he refuses, and he goes into business for himself, well, then that's what happens here. And that's what everybody saw.
Like I said, I'm just looking at the comment section right now, and everybody is freaking. They're all loving this. They're loving, and then actually, Tim, somebody who you know quite well, Seth. You guys go back from years ago.
I do go back with many years with Seth. Hey, Seth is an awesome drummer. That's from another lifetime.
He actually commented, and he goes, Joel is kind of douchey.
That's the biggest understatement Seth has ever said in the world. Now, look, I don't want to pour. See, that's the difference between Joel and I. I'm not going to pour onto Joel because he left. I'm not going to say, like, I think like it's pretty clear what happened here and what everybody saw, what this deal is. So I'm going to play promoter now, and I'm going to say July 6th, Team Extreme, Pitbull Gary Wolf, Kid Cash, Too Cold Scorpio, and Bill Alfonso will be going on against his team of the Philadelphia Playboy, Christian Ross, and his personal bodyguard, Alvin. And it's all on the line. He wins, he gets Battleground. I win, he fires one of his team, and that's it. I'm not see, because the difference is, like, so when I went into this with Joel Gertner, I respected Joel Gertner. I respect all the ECW. Obviously, ECW has a huge impact on what I'm doing now. I was passed the baton from Todd Gordon himself inside the ring at Tribute to Extreme. What I'm doing, I created a street fight title to bring in guys that haven't been inside the 2300 arena, guys that tour the country doing death matches. Now, we can't do death matches at the arena, but we can certainly do hardcore matches at the arena, and that's what we're going to be doing. But guys that haven't been inside, we're talking like Juicy and Juicy Panu, and we're talking like Shellac, and these guys. I'm trying to bring back that hardcore edge, but sprinkle in a little bit for everybody. Touch on every wrestling fan. Jake Hager, Cowboy James Storm, things that everybody wants to see. And who do I have constantly bringing me down, riding me down? Joel Gertner. And that's what you saw tonight.
It was it was definitely, I'll say this much, and the reason why I kind of laid back on it, I'll be honest right now, I kind of laid back because I was like, you know what? You guys obviously have some stuff you want to hopefully figure out. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to let you guys go with how
John,
you
did the right thing. John, you did the right thing. He was starting to attack you. If you would have continued to talk, he would have attacked you more. You did the right thing. I am quite capable of handling Joel Gertner. I might not have the dulcet tones that he does. I might not have the radio DJ voice that he does, but word for word, pound for pound, syllable for syllable, I can hang with Joel Gertner. I've done it before, and I can do it again. So, I'll handle that one, John. I don't want him saying anything derogatory about you. I don't want him putting down your amazing podcast. I don't want him taking any shots at you because you don't deserve that.
To me, I look at it as it's happened before, and I look at it as he was obviously I'm not trying to sit here and play sides because obviously I'm going to be on call for this match, so I kind of want to be unbiased towards it. But with him being on here before, it came off it came off as somebody who I wouldn't say jealous, but almost concerned. I know that's the right word.
Here's the word. Here's the word, John. Bitter. Mm-hmm. He's bitter. He thinks that he thinks, and maybe he's right. Maybe he has a reason to be bitter, because I'm not going to sit here, as much as him and I don't see eye to eye, I'm not going to sit here and say that Joel Gertner is not a talented man. He is a very, very talented man. pound for pound, one of the best mic workers in the history of the business. But with that being said, when you have the attitude and the entitlement, calling a 1%er and putting everybody down, that turns people off. And that's probably why Joel Gertner has not, he goes on and on about Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman gave him all his breaks. Well, I gave him a break too. I mean, Battleground's not ECW and it never will be, but it's a showcase. It's one of the biggest companies. It's one of the biggest companies around, and it's a showcase for anybody who works there. And people know that. And the people who come in are respectful, and the people there are grateful. And whether we have 200 fans or whether we have 800 fans, it doesn't matter. We have our pay-per-view audience. So many people see what we're doing. So many people know about Battleground Championship Wrestling. It's a springboard to bigger and better things. So if he would have came in and if he would have been gracious, or if he would have been even just a little bit accepting of his role and able to work with a little bit, we could have went on. We could have done great things. But now it's nothing but bitterness, and it's nothing but one-upsmanship. I don't trust him. I have no idea what he's going to do. I have no idea somebody's going to come out of the audience like the before. I have no idea. So I have to have my head on a swivel every time I deal with this guy. And it's all on the line July 6th at the 2300 Arena. And it'll be my pleasure when they lose, because there's going to be no paid off ref this time, when they lose, to watch him fire one of his guys. It'll be that right there will be the cherry on the sundae.
And to be honest, I can't wait to be on call for this show. I'm
John,
right now.
Listen, man, thank you so much. Listen, I'm gonna run. I got some more to be at 9 o'clock. I'm gonna run, but thank you for giving us your platform. Thank you for being here for us, and I look forward to you being on the call. If anybody doesn't know, John Blaine is the new play-by-play man for Battleground, and he also will be hosting the post-show press conference. First time in Battleground history, we'll be doing a press conference following the show, hosted by John Blaine, and that'll be live streamed, so you'll be able to watch that right on all your on the Battleground Facebook. We can share it to around the Ropes podcast, John Blaine's personal page, my personal page. It'll be all over the place. So check out the press conference, because there'll be all kinds of stuff going down, and we'll be announcing stuff for the next event. I already know when the next event is. I know the name of it. I know some people that are involved, but we're going to keep that hush hush, John Blaine.
Absolutely. Tim, go take care of what you got to take care of. I appreciate
Thank you so much. And once again, if he insulted you in any way, me and everybody involved with Battleground Championship Wrestling, we would like to humbly apologize for Joel Gertner. Thank you, John Blaine.
All right, Tim, have a good night. Holy shit. Holy crap, guys. That was incredible. Guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then yeah, I'm going to actually play the video that I usually play for a commercial break, because I got to take a breather. Be right back right after this with my reaction to what the hell just happened. Be right back right after this. And we are back live here on the Around the World podcast. Guys, if you missed any of tonight's show, definitely go back and check it out. We had a lot of independent wrestling talk in hour number one, including, I can't believe I'm about to say this, Joel Gertner and Timothy Embler just went at it on this show. You want to definitely go back and check that out. I want to go to some of the comments here as we all just kind of recap of what the hell just happened. So let me first go with David here, who goes, David, I appreciate that. Guys, the funny thing is, I'm just going to pull back the curtain here for a second. I didn't know what direction they were going with it. No, they had never told me beforehand. So when they both hopped on and they started going at it, that's why if you guys notice, you guys can watch this back in the replay later on. I kind of hang back because I'm like, I don't know which direction they're going with on here. So Seth chimes in here and goes, good stuff, John. Seth, I appreciate that a lot. And David goes, after hearing, what does he say? After hearing Gertner ramble on, I can't get Bishop. Yeah, I would get that. Seth, the event is July 6th, ECW Arena, 2300 Arena. Obviously, it's in South Philly. If you come by, if you come to that event, let me know. I will be there. I'll be actually on call for that show, as Tim mentioned before. So, Seth, it'll be great. It would be great to see you. And yeah, but holy crap, guys! Like I said, if you missed any of tonight's show, definitely go back and watch it because holy shit. That's all I'm going to say is holy shit. Because, I seriously, I am completely. Emmanuel checks this out and goes, yeah, Emmanuel, this is good. Those two are going to go at it at the first Battleground show on July 6th. David, I seriously can't. Hold on. Mark, to answer your question, I actually have. I've spoken to a few of the commentators right now on the independent scene. One of them actually is Johnny Patches, commentator for the Dynasty, and I think TIW as well up in Massachusetts. I've been talking to him. I've been talking to some other guys. I tried to listen to Monday Night Raw last night to kind of get Michael Cole and Pat McAfee just with them because I know for a fact, and I said this before and I'll say this again, there is a lot riding on this show. And this show is huge for me, just with my whole career. Because if you would have told me, let's say 6 months ago, that Joel Gertner would be coming on this show and would basically insult you, I would have said, you're nuts. But it was, guys, like I said, definitely go back and check it out. But guys, we're going to keep things moving here on this loaded edition of the Around the Ropes podcast. And guys, like I said, yeah, actually, Merck, good. That's actually another guy who I definitely want to talk to. And actually, I'm going to see him on Sunday at Breed Combination. So I'll definitely pull him to the side and try to talk to him. There's also a few other people that I can talk to as well who have been doing commentary. But Cheyenne is definitely one guy who I definitely want to pick his brain. And guys, by the way, go check out Cheyenne's show, this conversation scheduled for One Fall, because Ryan Peterson actually was just the most recent guest on it. And I listened to some of it now, and it was really, really good. It was really good. But I want to shift gears here for a second and talk some AEW because I was talking about it before Joel and Tim joined the show that we found out who Swerve would be facing at Forbidden Door, and that's Will Osprey. And personally, to me, I've said this before, I think it's way too early. Not saying that I don't think, and I want to stress this part also, not saying that I don't think Will deserves it, because I think he definitely deserves going for a title, but not at Forbidden Door. You want to get a bigger moment, you do it in Wembley Stadium when All In happens in August. And it is, that's where you get the bigger moment. If, of course, you're going to put the title on him. We may not, who knows? But I think you wait. But now here's the interesting scenario now. You turn around and, you know, I mean, they're going to have a great match. I'm not taking that away from them. They're going to have a stellar match. My only question is now, how do we get from Forbidden Door in June? Because I think, I remember here, there's nothing in July. I think after Forbidden Door, their next stop is All In. Unless I'm mistaken and I'm just forgetting of. I don't think they have a show in July though. But again, with this company, who the fuck knows? Seriously, who the hell knows at this point? And what I mean, you can go a couple ways here. You can go, because realistically, if Swerve beats Osprey, then technically there's no reason for him to get the rematch at All In. You could have him, though, enter into the Owen Hart tournament happening, I think, starting next week, or a week after. Because I know the finals are July 10th when AEW returns to Canada. So, I mean, you can have him win it there because, as we found out, the winner of the Owen Hart for the men and the women get a title shot at All In. So you can go that route. Now, personally, God, he won the title after AEW Dynasty back in April. And I remember that show because I was actually on here with Billy and Wolf, you know, one half of Matrix of the Mat. And I said it back then, I'm here for a full-blown Swerve run. The fact that there's a possibility he could be losing the belt either at the end of this month or in August begs the question to be asked. Does that make Swerve Strickland a transitional champion? Because you're not going to give him a long title run. I mean, you look at the past AEW World Heavyweight Champions: MJF, CM Punk, Hangman Adam Page, Jon Moxley, Omega, Jericho. I mean, let's look at Jericho for a second. Jericho, when he had his title run, he was freaking promoted like he was a champion. But then you look at somebody like whatchamacallit. You look at somebody like a Hangman Adam Page. I can't really sit there and say he was, to me, presented like a champion. You look at somebody like freaking, let's go down the list. Moxley was presented like a champion. Samoa Joe is tough though, because Samoa Joe really did not hold the belt that long. He won it. Did he win it at? He won it at World's End, and then he dropped it. Yeah, then he dropped it at Dynasty in April. So realistically, I don't know. I mean, Samoa Joe is also somebody who has built enough of a reputation in his career that he's Teflon. So with him holding the belt, it doesn't make or break it, so to speak. So he's kind of the weird out. But like, look at somebody like Moxley. Moxley was presented to me like a champion. I don't know yet about Swerve. And I say that about Swerve in this perspective. He has not held the belt that long. Realistically, he has not held the belt that long. He, obviously, like we know, he won the belt at, whatchamacallit. He won the belt at the AEW Dynasty show back in April. And now, looking at it, I mean, he defeated Christian Cage at Double or Nothing in a fantastic match, don't get me wrong. But now, I think AEW kind of put themselves in a real awkward position here. Because now you're going to have two fan favorites in Swerve and Will Osprey going into this match at Forbidden Door at the end of June. How? And that's the other thing also that people aren't talking about. A lot of times it's very difficult to see two baby faces in a match. You know, we all know damn well Swerve ain't turning heel. But we all know Will Osprey ain't turning heel, so what the hell are you going to do? To me, the biggest thing I'm just curious to see, though, the biggest thing I'm curious to see is, do they close their show out with them? Do we get them to close out the show, or do we get somebody else? Because to me, if you're getting somebody else, it means it's going to be bigger than need. Then here's the problem with that. Then you're giving the perception, because as we all know, perception is reality. Then you're giving that perception that the AEW World Heavyweight title doesn't mean that much if it's not going to close out your show. Realistically, unless it's Tony Storm, for example, which, okay, that I can kind of understand. What I hope to God is that it's not Mercedes Moné. I'm sorry. Maybe I just think the way she, and I understand, and I know we spoke about this a couple weeks ago on the show, and I understand, with everything that went on, I get the fact of how that whole thing had to play out. But I still don't think it was the right decision. I still don't. I still think what you should have done is you should have had Mercedes. Okay, here's a better way you could have done it. You could have had Mercedes go against Sky Blue. Okay? Sky Blue is somebody who you can still give her some time to work with, and she can still become a factor for the TBS title. And I think now the problem is, and I hate to say this, I think Willow's could become an afterthought at this point. Because now, where realistically Willow should be going after Mercedes for that title, she has to go after Chris. Because Chris turned her back on her at Double or Nothing. Was that Double? No. Yeah, it was at Double or Nothing. And that's my issue. Is I think Willow becomes a second thought, an afterthought at this point. And so we got that. And then I think the other thing also that I think is beyond stupid at this point is how we're getting Swerve versus Roddy on this Wednesday's Dynamite. And again, nothing against the wrestlers. I think the wrestlers are, I think Roderick Strong right now is putting in some of the best work he's ever done, to say the least. But why do you have him walk up to Tony Khan and basically stomp his feet like he's a 2-year-old and sit there and say, I want a title shot? And Tony Khan, who to me, I said this, and you can go back and watch previous episodes where I have sat on this show and I've said that Tony Khan is not a booker. He's just he's a guy who has a lot of money and basically has fantasy matches. And to turn around, and to me, that shows to me that that Tony Khan doesn't have a set of balls. I'm going to say it right now. Because to me, when did we come into the world of pro wrestling where you walk up to the boss and say, I want a title shot, and then stomp his feet, and the boss goes, okay, you get a title shot. Why? Which means one of two things are going to happen, and I hate to say this. Either Swerve is losing the title on Wednesday to Roddy, and we're going to get Roddy and Will at Forbidden Door, or he's losing that Forbidden Door. Because again, you're not going to want, and this is where AEW is kind of fucking themselves in the long run here, because Will Osprey now is on the run of his life right now. You're not going to have, and I mean, yes, granted, is the loss going to hurt him? Not necessarily. It's not going to be detrimental to him. However, it would definitely push him back quite a bit. It would definitely position things a little interesting, to say the least. And all that fun stuff. And I just think, to me, that's my big issue right now. We're going to take another quick break because I'm going to try to pull something off here. And guys, we'll be back right after this talking some WWE SmackDown and some Cody Rhodes as well. And again, we'll be right back right after this. You're listening to the Around the Ropes podcast right here on the ATR, on the Around the Ropes YouTube channel, or listen to us on Spotify. We'll be right back right after this. And we are back live right here on the Around the Ropes podcast channel. And guys, I want to talk some SmackDown because SmackDown just had their most recent show live from the MVP Arena up in Albany, New York, a building that I have been into a few times now. I'm looking forward to being back in there again come October. But guys, I want to dive into what happened, especially with the AJ Styles trying to emanate Mark Henry. And they were talking about Busted Open, and I kind of have to agree with what Dave was saying because I don't remember if it was Dave, one of them was saying it, and they kept pushing it throughout the entire show. It seemed to be the thread throughout the entire show on Friday. And personally, to me, right there, and then the biggest giveaway to me, the biggest giveaway out of anything was plain and simple, and it wasn't even something that AJ had said. And it wasn't the fact that they pretty much emanated what Mark Henry did with John Cena back in 2012, 2011. It was the fact that he wore a pastel blue jacket. Let's just call a spade a spade. And the fact that once he wore the jacket, I'm like, yep, there's no way he's retiring. Now, what I'm just curious to see, though, and again, can we stop with the Cody crying every fucking segment thing? I mean, I get the fact he's, the white meat babyface and he's pulling in numbers that we have not seen in WWE since Hogan, and even probably bigger than Hogan at this point. Probably bigger than Cena even. But we all know. Now, here's my only thing, though. Do you pull the trigger now? Because, hear me out here for a second. We all know what's closing out Clash of the Castle next Saturday. And that's Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. Let's just call it what it is. However, with all that being said, though, do you pull the trigger now with Cody AJ 2? Or do you wait till Money in the Bank in the beginning of July in Toronto? Where you could almost give the story a little bit more time to breathe. Because as we saw at Backlash back in May, they're not doing 10 to 12 pay-per-view, 10 to 12 matches on a show anymore. They're not doing that. They're doing 5 matches and that's it. And that's all it should be. But now my question is this. Do you pull the trigger now? Because you remember, you only have, a week or so? You have, you actually technically only have 1 Monday Night Raw. But you have 2 SmackDowns till we get to Clash at the Castle. So you have 2 SmackDowns till Clash at the Castle. I personally think you'll be rushing it if you pull the trigger now. So I think, to me, the way it should be done is you wait until we get to Money in the Bank. And I say you wait till we get to Money in the Bank because then you allow the story to marinate and kind of let AJ kind of explain, why he lured Cody the way he did and all that stuff. I think that's the only way that would make sense. And the other thing also that I don't understand is why. I mean, you put out there that you were going to have Guerrillas of Destiny taking on Street Profits, which I love the match. Don't get me wrong. But I'm curious to see what the intro is going to be for them. Are we getting Guerrillas of Destiny, the song that they freaking made popular over in New Japan? Are we getting that? I'm curious to see. I mean, I freaking popped for Tama Tonga's entrance when he was doing the solo stuff. But what I'm curious to see, though, is what's going to happen with this. That's where I'm curious. That's where my curiosity is going to lie. How that's all going to play out. Because I think at some point, especially the fact like we saw on Friday, I think Austin Theory is turning babyface sooner rather than later. So more than likely, they're going to drop the belts. A-Town from Down Under, or as I call them, a couple of douchebags. But now the question is, who takes the belts off of them? Because the one thing I got to give SmackDown credit for is they have a very loaded tag team division right now. You have DIY, which, I mean, let's be, no, DIY, yeah, DIY, no. Yeah, DIY is on SmackDown. I have to remember now. You got DIY right now, who, let's call a spade here. That's probably who their next challenger is going to be. Because I think we found out on Friday night, we're getting Gargano versus Grayson Waller. So that's to set up the tag team match for Clash of the Castle. So we have that coming up. You have Tamatonga and Tongaloa. You have the Catch Republic. You have all of these teams. Now the question is, what team is going to be the one to push themselves for those titles? Because I think if you want to call space, okay, but now here's the other thing now. Like I was saying earlier with Will Osprey, I think if you put DIY in a tag team title picture, first of all, I think they should have had the belts at this point. But I think their bigger moment would be SummerSlam, Gargano's hometown, Cleveland. You want to, and this is the one thing I don't understand with WWE and AEW. You want to build these moments. You want to push for these moments. Why not make moments where you have Will Ospreay possibly win the AEW World Heavyweight title in London, where you possibly have Johnny Gargano winning the tag titles in Cleveland? I don't see a problem with that. I do not see a problem with that at all. Last thing I want to get to is this past Sunday was the 10-year anniversary of the Shield breaking up. And it was interesting to say the least. That first of all, it's been 10 years. I can't freaking believe that. But what I'm very curious to see though with that is, and I'm going to throw this to you guys, and this will be a future YouTube exclusive. Where does the Shield stand to you guys amongst the greatest factions of all time? Now, when they were together, now here's why I'm prefacing this question. Post their run, because look at these other teams. Look at Evolution. Look at DX. Look at the NWO. Look at the Four Horsemen. Look at the Legion of Doom, the New Day. All these teams. Look what the Shield have done. All three of those guys, Rollins, Reigns, and Ambrose / Moxley, have all gone on to win belts in every fucking. And obviously, Moxley's won basically every title. In Moxley has been a top. All three of them have been top guys. I mean, Roman Reigns just came off one of the most historical runs we have seen in the modern era. Rollins is somebody who has been a workhorse for that company for the last God knows how many years. Moxley, the same thing. Moxley went over to New Japan and won the New Japan US title, and also won obviously right now he's the IWGP World Heavyweight title holder. So we have those two. We have, obviously, Rollins has held every title in that company. Reigns has held every title. So I'm going to say this right now. I think the Shield, the impact that the Shield have made, I think the only team that comes close, I would say is a little bit ahead of them, would be the NWO. I would say right now the top three factions of teams that made an impact on this industry, I think one has to be the NWO, two has to be DX, and three has to be the Shield. Over the Four Horsemen, over a lot of these other teams. And I say that for the fact that look at what the Shield pulled off. And look what the Shield, their legacy is going to be when it's all said and done. I mean, we cannot defeat the fact that this team has pretty much, I mean, I can't think of a team in any wrestling company, and somebody who's watching this, correct me if I'm wrong on this, where every person from the team, every person has held basically every title. There's really none that come to mind. There's really none that come to mind. But guys, we're going to wrap up the show for tonight because I'll be honest, that Joel Gertner thing really took a lot out of me. Unless anybody has anything else they'd like to add in the comment section below, you definitely can. You definitely can. But guys, like I said, we're going to wrap up the show for tonight. Guys, I appreciate everybody who watched. Hey, Joe, how you doing? I definitely appreciate everybody who watched the show tonight. It meant a lot. It was probably one of the biggest shows I've ever done. I want to thank, well, actually, before we do that, I just want to go over for the United We Stand card, just so that you guys can go off with Joel Gertner. Cowboy James Storm takes on Jake Hager. Brian Kendrick takes on Lance Anawahi. Obviously, we mentioned before the aforementioned 8-man tag match between Bill Alfonso's Team Extreme, which is Too Cold Scorpio, Pitbull, Gary Wolf, and Kid Cash, taking on Joel Gertner's team. We obviously know how that's all going to play out. Fuego del Sol takes on Casey Navarro. Juicy Fanu takes on Shellac. Lucky 13 takes on Drake Younger. Facade and Crowbar take on the Pitbull Revolution. We have Blackout versus the New Backseats. And the Dynamite Kid gets inducted into the Heroes of the Spectrum. And then, oh yeah, there's a press conference being held by me afterwards. But guys, Joe, I'm glad to hear that. But guys, definitely, and like I said, coming up next week on the show, we will have Sean Donovan joining the show, and also have the recap coming out of Bree Combination as they present Anniversary 7, which actually, by the way, I'm going to just go over the card quickly. And like I said, I'll go more over the card on Sunday prior to the anniversary show. But quickly, just to go over the card, we have Darius Carter taking on Victor Benjamin in the main event for the BCW World Heavyweight title. For the BCW Women's title, Vicious Vicky takes on Elena Cross. For the tag titles, yes, guys, the infamous tag titles will be on the line for the first time in it seems like an eternity. Blonde Force Trauma, which is Heather Monroe and Ray Lynn, takes on the team of Journey Burke and Emily J. Keep things moving here. For the NWA Exodus Midwest Heavyweight Championship, Pretty Boy Smooth takes on Daniel Alexander. Faye Jackson takes on Tiana James. Anthony Gangone takes on Jay Bougie for the Grand Dragon Championship. Notorious Mimi, who is your current Queen of the North winner, takes on Clara Carreras. And Harlan Lopez takes on a debuting Leo Sparrow. Again, guys, this all goes down this coming Sunday, live from Richfield Park, New Jersey, 106 Bergen Avenue. If you cannot make it, you do have two options of how you can. You have one option of how you can definitely stream it. I don't know exactly how it's being streamed yet. Or if you can't make it, but you still like to get to know some of the people, there is a kickoff show beforehand being hosted by yours truly. And I will try to get on as much of the talent as I can beforehand. Because, guys, like I said, Sunday is going to be a fun day. Saturday, I will be at VPW. I will be getting my tickets for VPW this coming Friday. So I got that coming up. June 22nd, I will be at Pro Wrestling Magic as they present Turf War. Obviously, with the one cage War Games match. And it was just announced we will be getting Alex Ryman versus Danny Moff. June 23rd, I will be up in Oneida for their next set of tapings, which is following the Bob Evans seminar. Guys, go to Upstate Wrestling Entertainment if you're interested in that and you live in the New York area. June 29th, there are two big shows happening. First, happening at Empire Live up in Albany, New York, the Dynasty present Light Up the Sky, where one of the matches will be a ladder match for the inaugural World Championship. Also taking place that night, Blitzkrieg Pro presents the 6th annual Luau with the featured match of Paul Walter Hauser from Cobra Kai and former WWE superstar himself, Paul London, taking on the Shook Crew, which is being sponsored by this show right here on the Ropes Podcast. And then, guys, we get to July 6th, July 4th weekend. It all goes down. 2300 Arena. The festivities start at 1 p.m. with Who Runs the World, Battleground's first all-women show. Followed by that will be the sort of like the mini, whatchamacallit? I don't know how best to describe it. The mini meet and greet with Jim Ross. Then we will have United We Stand starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. Then following all that will be the PCW press conference, which, by the way, guys, you'll hear me on the call for not only United We Stand, Who Runs the World, but also you'll hear me for the press conference. So, guys, you're not going to miss that. That's going to be a huge day. Then coming up July 13th is Immortal Things 5 up in the Utica Nexus Center. And, guys, it's going to be a loaded. And then I know in August, the Dynasty presents the Battle at Almont. Don't know yet about matches or information about that. But like I said, we'll definitely have. And then also, guys, like I said, we'll have a lot of people coming on from the Dynasty, from Immortal, from Battleground, from Blitzkrieg in the next couple of weeks, guys. Like I said, guys, the only way you guys can know about any of that is you hit the subscribe button on our YouTube page. It costs you nothing. It does wonders for us. If you're watching us on Facebook tonight, definitely hit the follow button. Definitely that's how you get locked into any of our information that we have coming up, including the fact that we will be posting all of our videos on there for the YouTube exclusives that we do. Also, like I said, share the video. Show your friends, your family, whoever, if they're wrestling fans, or even if they're not wrestling fans. Show them what you guys have seen here for the last 3 years. And guys, like I said, I'm not here without you guys. You guys are made the show. You guys are the ATR Nation. And I'm proud that I can finally say that at this point. And guys, like I said, I appreciate all of it. It means a lot. But guys, I'm getting out of here right now. It's been a long day. Guys, definitely go watch the replay of the show. You're not going to miss, especially the interaction with Joel Gertner and Timothy Embler. And so much more. But guys, again, I'm John. This has been Around the World's podcast. Catch us live here every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Go follow us on Facebook. We'll have a lot of videos coming out in this entire month alone. And guys, you're not going to want to miss any of it. And guys, let's go have some fun. See you guys here next week. Actually, strike that. I'll see you guys here Sunday, live from Ridgefield Park, ahead of Anniversary 7 for the Kickoff Show. But for everybody else, I'll see you guys here next week, 8 p.m. Eastern.